What's up? This is the Benchwarmers here, and welcome to the 2020 Benchwarmers NBA Awards. We're basically just going to go through all of the awards. We each nominated three people, I think, for each award, and then we'll just announce the winner for each one, as well as the nominations. And also, there's some awards that are a bit interesting that we don't really know how to judge them, like the Teammate of the Year award and like the Hustle award and things like that. So we just replaced those with some of our own awards, which we think probably should be NBA awards, maybe, but we'll see. Anyway, let's move on to the first award. Aki?
That's right. We're talking about the first award. Let's talk about players who are in their first year. Right, this is the Rookie of the Year award, what some people are calling a relatively close race, while others are calling a landslide victory. There have been several rookies who performed extremely well throughout this year, and we ultimately decided that 3 of them would be named as finalists for the Rookie of the Year. In alphabetical order, these rookies are Ja Morant, Kendrick Nunn, and Zion Williamson. And the Rookie of the Year for the Benchwarmers 2020 awards goes to Ja Morant. Collectively, we all thought that Ja Morant was the #1 rookie this season. He played way more games than Zion Williamson and was better on paper than Kendrick Nunn and any other rookie. He led a team which many were predicting to go 25 wins to the current 8th seed in the West. And since and the West is definitely the more stacked conference, as he has led a team to be better than the Damian Lillard-led Blazers, or even the Warriors. That last one was a bit of a joke there, but to be honest, Ja Morant has had a stellar season, especially for a rookie, and he looks like he will be a future staple for the Memphis Grizzlies for many years to come.
All right, so that wraps it up for the Rookie of the Year award. The next award is the Most Improved Player. And there are not 3 nominations for this one because we each nominated 3 people. It just happened that last time there were 3 because we all nominated the exact same people. So for the Most Improved Player award, the nominations are Bam Adebayo, Luka Doncic, Devontae Graham, and Brandon Ingram. And the winner of the 2020 Benchwarmers Most Improved Player award goes to Bam Adebayo. All right, I think this is once again one we all agreed on. Bam Adebayo was someone who was not really an amazing player last year, averaged under 10 points a game. But this year, he's gone up to 16 points and 11 rebounds a game, and he's helped the Heat as a whole improve a lot as well. So I think he's definitely deserving of this award.
He is a winning player who loves to play on both sides of the ball, and these are the type of players we're going to be seeing in the future as staples on winning teams.
All right, so now we're moving on to our next award, which is the Comeback Player of the Year. We actually took this one from the NFL awards as an inspiration, which Jimmy G actually got snubbed. It's kind of ridiculous that Jimmy G didn't win, considering that he led the 49ers to 13-3 in the Super Bowl, and then Ryan Tannehill won it. That was ridiculous. But anyways, back to the Comeback Award for our Benchwarmers Award show. So the nominees, we actually had many nominees because there is no consensus. This is rather subjective, but it's like more subjective than the other awards. So we had Carmelo Anthony, Goran Dragic, Markelle Fultz, Gordon Hayward, Chris Paul, Kristaps Porzingis, and D Rose as our nominees. And the winner is Gordon Hayward. And there was no consensus. I actually did not have Gordon Hayward in my top 3, but the other 2 did. But I think he deserves it. So good for Gordon Hayward. Not that it matters to him, but yeah.
Yeah, I think Gordon Hayward really has come back, as the award says. Last year, he really, really struggled and just wasn't performing how he was in his Utah Jazz days. But this year he's been really a key part of an amazing Celtics team as he's averaging 17 points a game, 7 rebounds, and 4 assists, which is pretty much very similar stats to his days in Utah. So I think he's definitely deserving of this award. I think I was the only person who actually had him as the number one player.
Yeah, I in fact had him as I think my number 2 option for the award. I think that one thing which was always holding him back, and the Celtics overall in the past couple of years, is that, oh no, they paid Gordon Hayward so much money and then he got injured. Is there ever going to be a way where you can get at least a comparable return on investment for a former All-Star? And he's proven that this year, even though he suffered one of the worst injuries that I've ever seen. He has come back almost stronger. He is a staple on a team. I'm using the staple a lot. It should be sponsored by Staples. Anyways, he is a key component of a team who is doing extremely well, and he is comfortable in his role as being the 4th option on a team. And he is doing it efficiently, and he has improved in certain aspects of his game from his Utah days. And in Utah, you could have said he was a bit more of a ball hog, but now he is willing to help the team for what it needs. As we move on to the next award. The next award is, in fact, the 6th Man of the Year award. I don't know why we didn't have that 6th, but we have it 4th. And for that, we actually have 5 nominees from a variety of teams. And they are Montrezl Harrell, Derrick Rose, Dennis Schroeder, Fred VanVleet, and Lou Williams. And the 6th Man of the Year for the 2020 Benchwarmers Awards goes to Dennis Schroeder. Yes, round of applause for Dennis Schroeder. He has done exceedingly well after being traded from Atlanta to the Thunder a couple of years ago, and he has blossomed as one of the premier 6th men in the league. Off the bench, he is averaging 18 or 19 points per game, and he is a crucial part as to why the Oklahoma City Thunder, many people thought were going to win around 30 to 35 games, are actually on pace to win around 50 games had we played out the entire season. He is a formidable offensive player and has had many clutch buckets, including one where he caught a full court pass and made a layup to tie the game and send it to overtime. So Dennis Schroeder has very much so helped the Thunder, including the coach Billy Donovan and other players such as Chris Paul, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, and Danilo Gallinari to lead the Thunder to their current seed.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I think that out of all the 6th men in the league, Dennis Schroeder is the most key because the Thunder actually they end all of their games with a 3-guard setup with Chris Paul, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, and Dennis Schroeder, and that's been working extremely well for them. So I think that this Dennis Schroeder coming off the bench is definitely the most impactful bench player in the league currently. All right, so now we're moving on to the next award, and it is also an award that is not in the actual NBA awards. We have the most overrated player this year. So the nominations are Mike Conley, Al Horford, Kyrie Irving, DeAndre Jordan, Kyle Kuzma, and finally Zach LaVine. And the winner of the 2020 Benchwarmers Overrated Player Award is Kyle Kuzma. All right, yeah, Kyle Kuzma is really kind of been overhyped, especially since he had a pretty good rookie season. He's currently shooting below 30% from 3, and he's only really averaging 12 points per game, which is especially bad considering he is a huge defensive liability. He's definitely not living up to his rookie hype, I guess. So that's why he's the most overrated player in the NBA.
I think another reason why he's so overrated is because the Lakers had to trade away 2 of their key offensive players when they had to trade for AD, and they had to choose between Zoe, Brandon Ingram, and Kyle Kuzma. And of course, the Lakers thought Kyle Kuzma would be the best out of them, or at least one of the best. So then they traded away Zoe and Brandon Ingram. But turns out that Zoe and Brandon Ingram were actually better than Kyle Kuzma. And that just shows how ridiculously overrated Kyle Kuzma is, even by the Lakers organization this offseason.
Yeah, I mean, I honestly can't say much more. Kyle Kuzma is really overrated for what he's worth. I mean, his celebrity status is kind of, I don't know, it's probably more undeserved. There's many players out there who have done much better than him who don't get the same recognition. And I don't know, we'll see if he truly is going to be overrated for years to come, or if he's just a bad team, good stats sort of player.
Wait, hold on. I think we had some sort of mix-up. Why would we give an award for most overrated player? Is that really an award, or is that sort of like a public shame?
Yeah, that's true. It's not really something you'd want to win. Wouldn't want to be Kyle Kuzma right now, to be honest.
Yeah, Kyle
Yeah, why did
Kuzma
we
gets
clap?
called out by a YouTube channel of 15 or 16-year-olds. Biggest L's of the year. Anyways, I think we should give a most underrated player of the year award instead. What do you guys think?
Yeah, that definitely makes a bit more sense.
Yeah, we're kind of doing some extemp work right here. I feel like we should have picked this award in the first place. I don't know why we had that overrated award ever. That award itself is overrated.
That was actually pretty good. Okay, so let's move on to the most underrated player of the year awards. So our nominees are Evan Fournier, I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly, Serge Ibaka, Norman Powell, Derrick Rose, Nikola Vucevic, TJ Warren, and Christian Wood. And the winner is, drumroll, TJ Warren of the Indiana Pacers.
All right, so TJ Warren is someone that I had on my list because he has really been one of the best players on the Pacers while everyone is just talking about Domantas Sabonis and Victor Oladipo. But I actually had him at third, and my number one candidate was Christian Wood. This is a player who's averaged 23 points and 10 assists ever since DeAndre Jordan left the Pistons, and he's shooting 56% from the field and 40% from three, which is like incredible for a center. And no one even talks about him. Like I genuinely didn't even hear about. I generally never heard about him until I like did the research into who should win this underrated award. So I definitely think that he deserves this even more than TJ Warren, even though TJ Warren is definitely deserving.
I think that the player you just mentioned probably should deserve it. I think Christian would deserve it if he actually won more games. I think that if he really was a very underrated player. Actually, I think the fact that he loses games also contributes to why it's underrated. But the fact that TJ Warren is on a team that wins as much as the Pacers and doesn't receive the recognition that he deserves, I think that makes him even more underrated, even though Christian Wood is underrated too.
Yeah, TJ Warren is averaging 19 points a game on 53% shooting and 38% from three. Like, hello, that's insanely good statistics. If you compare those side by side to say Jimmy Butler statistics this year, I know they had a little fight earlier this season, but they look honestly pretty close if you're just looking at the stats. But obviously Jimmy Butler is the better player, but TJ Warren isn't way too far behind. To be honest, he may be a top 8 small forward in the league. All right. So now to the next award. We've finished the underrated, and we're going to the clutch performance of the year. So this award goes, in fact, to a whole situation in a game. This, in fact, was agreed upon by all of us to be the only true contender for this award. And we'll take you back to November 23rd of 2019, back in the previous decade, where you had absolutely no clue that there was a virus on the horizon ready to take your livelihood away from you. So this was a night where this happened.
When the Hornets needed him. Lead back up to 5. Kobe White, Satoransky. They won't go away. Good God. Always in the rearview mirror. Trouble. Loose. Chicago's got it. Oh, no! You're kidding!
Okay, so now you've seen this. We're giving this clutch performance award to the Bulls, and especially to Zach LaVine, who hit multiple clutch shots in the final minute to lead an astonishing comeback over the Hornets, especially that last steal turnaround for the 3 to win the game. This also capped his 13th three-pointer of the game, which ties him for second all-time with Stephen Curry for most threes made in a game. This was truly a historic performance, and I really think that not enough people are talking about this. This was one of the most insane moments that I have ever witnessed in the past 5 to 10 years of basketball, which has been during the regular season, that is. And this just shows how great the NBA can be, that two terrible teams, the Bulls and the Hornets, neither of whom were invited back to the bubble, could create such a ruckus of a game like this.
I think another thing that makes it just even more special is that on that final play, the Bulls were losing by 2, and if Zach LaVine really wanted, he could have just pulled up from 2 or just given it to someone else to lay it up. But the absolute guts that he has to go for a 3-pointer, a very difficult one at that, at the final second is just incredible. So that's why I think this play is really amazing.
You know, when teams that are down 10 points just start fouling, it just makes me – I just feel like the teams are ridiculous. Like they're just trying helplessly to win. It's just a futile attempt. But games like these remind me that it's always possible to just hit clutch threes. And this game is truly amazing since I believe the Bulls were down by around 10 points with around 1 minute left in the fourth quarter. And the fact that they fouled, shot a 3, fouled, made another basket. And the fact that they were able to pull that off, just absolutely amazing. One of the best games of the decade.
All right, so the next award is a similar one. It's also taken from the NFL honors. It is the best performance by a single player. And we all only nominated one performance for this one, and there were 2 nominations. The first one is Damian Lillard versus the Warriors on January 10th this year. And the second one is also Damian Lillard, but against the Lakers just 11 days later on January 31st. And the winner is Damian Lillard. Well, obviously the winner is Damian Lillard, but we have him winning. We have the one against the Lakers as being the best performance. And I think that the stats just speak for itself. He scored 48 points, got 10 rebounds, 9 assists, and 2 steals in a win. And even though statistically this wasn't as good as the one against the Warriors, it wasn't as good against the Warriors. It was definitely a better opponent because the Lakers are one of the best teams in the NBA, and the Warriors are, well, the Warriors. But what makes it really, really special is just the kind of situation of the event. This was actually the first game played in the Lakers arena following the unfortunate passing of Kobe Bryant, and Damian Lillard dedicated this performance, which was very Kobe-esque, to Kobe. So I think that just the kind of impact that this game had is definitely a good reason to have this as the best performance.
I would like to also just shout out the other performance which was there by Damian Lillard. In the game against the Warriors, he dropped 61 points, which was absolutely insane. This is the point of time where over a week and a half or 2 weeks, Damian Lillard was averaging 50 points a game, which was absolutely unheard of. It's Wilt-esque sort of numbers coming from a guard in the modern NBA, which is just insane. But Honestly, thinking about this more, the fact that it was almost a triple-double, 48 points, 10 assists, and 9 rebounds on really efficient shooting, there's just not much you can take away from this other than Kobe was with him.
Yeah, I think this performance was definitely better than the Warriors' performance, although the Warriors game was really good just because it was the Warriors. But I think it was extremely savage of Damian Lillard to go to the Staples Center, the Lakers' home arena, the best team in the West, and then he dropped 50 points, actually like 48 points, which is basically 50 points, around 10 rebounds, and 9 assists on the Lakers at their home ground. That was super savage and definitely one of the best performances. Okay, so now let's move on to our next award, which is the NBA Executive of the Year. Our nominees are David Griffin of the New Orleans Pelicans, Rob Pelinka of the Lakers, Sam Presti of the Thunder, Pat Riley of the Miami Heat, and Michael Winger of the Clippers. And I believe these are all the general managers as well. And our winner is Sam Presti of the Thunder. And I believe that we chose him mainly because of the trade that he was able to pull off. Amazing. Well, that was one of my main reasons. Amazing trade. You got around 5 first-round picks, many role players as well. And I don't know, it's like people thought that the Thunder were going to have to rebuild. But this trade was so good that the players that they acquired were able to help the Thunder have an even better year. Or not even better year, but just an extremely good year. Way better than anyone else predicted. So I think that was an amazing trade that Sam Presti pulled off.
I think that also, in addition with the other couple of trades which he made and the sort of construction of the rosters with the point that, no, I'm not going to give my assets away. I'm just going to keep them, and I'm going to still be in a win now mode, and I will show that my team is still better than many of these other teams in the West. I mean, he traded Paul George for Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, who has been doing extremely well this year, Danilo Gallinari, who's always been really good when he's healthy, and 4 or 5 first-round picks and a couple of pick swaps just for Paul George, who has honestly underperformed this year and is, if anything, is only slightly better than Shai Gilgeous-Alexander this year. Another trade which he pulled off was Russell Westbrook for Chris Paul, 2 first-round picks, and 2 pick swaps. And considering the play of both of those people this year, especially Chris Paul, who has been anchoring this team as a leader, the Thunder just didn't give up on him and allowed Chris Paul to truly shine and show that he still has a little bit of that 2005, 2006 sort of flash which he had back in the day. But honestly, the team has just gelled super well together, keeping the team intact and not giving away pieces like, oh, Chris Paul to the Knicks, Danilo Gallinari to the Heat. Not giving up on this young core, and having so many first-round picks in the lock for years to come just puts the Thunder in such an amazing place going forward. Last year, we were talking about, oh, the Thunder are in such a tight space. They are filled with a salary cap, and they are just going to be a first-round exit sort of team for years to come. But Sam Presti revolutionized that and changed it.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I also had Sam Presti at number 1, but I also want to shout out the person who I had at 2, I believe, which was the Pelicans executive, David Griffin. So when you look at this trade he made for Anthony Davis, he acquired Brandon Ingram, Lonzo Ball, and 3 picks, I believe, 3 first-round picks. But when you look at this team, even if they don't look that amazing right now, they have incredible young talent, including Zion Williamson, Brandon Ingram, Lonzo Ball, and even Jackson Hayes, who they drafted as a good future center. They have a ton of first-round picks for the future. I think this team is going to be one of the best teams in the NBA for years to come. They might not be this year, but I think in the future they'll be incredible. So that's why I have David Griffin as my second choice.
Now we're getting to the final few awards. There's only 3 left, and I'm sure you know at least 2 of them. But I'm going to be announcing the winner as the Coach of the Year. So we have had many amazing coaches who have led teams who were supposed to be good to be even better, and teams which weren't supposed to be good to be quite decent. And we ultimately came up with these 4 coaches. First, Mike Budenholzer from the Milwaukee Bucks. Second, Billy Donovan from the Oklahoma City Thunder. Third, Nick Nurse from the Toronto Raptors. And finally, Eric Spoelstra from the Miami Heat. And the winner is Nick Nurse from the Toronto Raptors. Many people, once the reigning champions lost Kawhi Leonard, had no faith in the team. They say Pascal Siakam is too young. Kyle Lowry is too washed up. I mean, look at him. And the people around him are they aren't that good of a team anymore. They're an old team. All the players are going to start becoming worse. Serge Ibaka will become worse. Fred VanVleet is not a star. Norman Powell won't turn to anything. Marc Gasol is aging. There's no way they'll be good. They'll probably end up being a 6 or 7 seed in a terrible Eastern Conference. But no, the Toronto Raptors surged back and had a 46-18 record, which is around a 71 to 72% win percentage, which is actually higher than last year, which was around a 70% win percentage. And they have just blossomed as a franchise, going 46-18 under the tutelage of Kyle Lowry and Pascal Siakam. Nick Nurse has had his schemes and had his players fit in super well, allowed for the development of players such as OG Anunoby, Norman Powell, Fred VanVleet, and even a resurgence from players like Serge Ibaka. And just the way this team has coalesced together and just being better than so many teams and having a better record than, hey, even the Clippers. It's just wonderful how Nick Nurse has coached this team, even through the face of so many injuries, to be such a good team in the Eastern Conference.
Yeah, I think when you look at kind of the top 5 teams that we had in our power rankings, which were the Celtics, the Raptors, the Bucks, the Lakers, and the Clippers, the Raptors are really a standout because they don't really have the talent that the other teams have. The Lakers have LeBron James and Anthony Davis. The Clippers have Paul George and Kawhi Leonard. The Bucks have Giannis Antetokounmpo. The Celtics have Kemba Walker and Jason Tatum. The Raptors don't really have those. They have great players, yes, but they're not these amazing players that some of the teams around them have. And yet Nick Nurse was able to just create one of the best teams in the NBA out of not the most talented players in the NBA. So I think he definitely deserves the credit for doing so and deserves this award.
Another thing that I want to add that I feel like you guys already touched upon a little bit was the fact that after the Heat lost LeBron, look what happened to them. They're sort of like they're like in the middle. Then after the Cavs lost LeBron, they plummeted to the worst team in the East. Then after the Warriors had Steph Curry get injured this past season, they became the worst team in the entire NBA after coming off of a finals campaign. But now look at the Raptors this season. They lost Kawhi Leonard, one of the best players in the entire NBA, who arguably led them to the finals that year. And now look at the Raptors. Look how good they are. They're, I believe, the second best team in the entire Eastern Conference. That is very impressive, especially after losing an All-Star and actually an All-Star starter and in the offseason. I think what Nick Nurse has done in Toronto is absolutely amazing. The fact that the Raptors were able to rebound, even after having so many players injured this season, just very incredible. And I think he definitely deserves this award. It's even in the real NBA, it's very, very likely that he's going to win the award. There's really not that much of a debate for who's going to win.
All right, and now we only have 2 awards left. I'm sure you know what they are. The penultimate award is the Defensive Player of the Year. And even though we all nominated 3 players, there are only 4 total nominations, and they are Giannis Antetokounmpo, Anthony Davis, Rudy Gobert, and finally Ben Simmons. And the winner of the Defensive Player of the Year award for the Benchwarmers, that is Giannis Antetokounmpo. He has just been an absolute monster on defense this year. The Bucks have the highest defensive rating in the NBA in all of the NBA since the 2015-16 season, and Giannis has been a key part of this with 11 defensive rebounds a game, and he can guard literally anyone. He has the size to guard big men, the athleticism to guard guards. He is just an athletic freak and a defensive monster.
All the stats are in his favor too. They have the best number one team, number one individual defensive rating. There was a statistic which one of the ESPN anchors said the other day that if you are being guarded by Giannis, you shoot 36% from the field. I'm not 46, 36% from the field. That's like absolutely insane. His length, his physique, and his utter dominance on the defensive end is just showing like how just impactful of a player which he could be, especially for years to come. He's only 25 or 26. He's 25, I think. So he's got so much ahead of him, and he's clearly the defensive player of the year this year. If anything, if another player such as Anthony Davis wins it, know that it's just because the league likes parity and the voters don't want to truly respect what Giannis has done. But if you really look into the details and the statistics, it has to be Giannis.
Yeah, I really feel like there's not much to explain. They call him the Greek freak for a reason because he's an absolute monster offensively and defensively. There's really like nothing I need to add here. It's definitely one of the best players in the NBA. And that brings us to our MVP award. And our nominees are Giannis Antetokounmpo, Anthony Davis, Luka Doncic, James Harden, LeBron James, Kawhi Leonard, and Damian Lillard. So a lot of players, a lot of variety. So clearly a difference in opinion here. And our winner is, I believe it was actually a consensus. It was Giannis Antetokounmpo, also our winner of the DPOY. And I think Giannis definitely deserves this award. It's a back-to-back award for him, I believe. He's one of the best players offensively and defensively. There's no debate about that. I really don't think I have to explain myself here. His stats and the games that he's played in really speak for themselves. That's all I gotta say.
And when you talk MVP, when I think of it, I think of which team would be the most affected by losing this player. And without Giannis, where would the Bucks be right now? Sure, they have some okay players, good players in Chris Middleton, Eric Bledsoe. Without Giannis, they're definitely not a finals contender, in my opinion. Whereas with maybe the Lakers, if they lose LeBron, they still have a decent foundation with players like Anthony Davis, and I think they wouldn't struggle as much. So that's why Giannis definitely deserves to be the Defensive Player of the Year and MVP. I think the only player to do it besides Michael Jordan and Hakeem Olajuwon, I think.
Yeah, I mean, if you just look at the stats he's put up, there's just no contest. Like, in 30 minutes of action, he's putting up 29 points a game, 13 rebounds, 6 assists, 1.5 steals, 1.5 blocks. Like, Giannis, he is absolutely dominant. He is, according to Shaq, the most dominant player he has seen at this particular age, which is definitely saying something coming from Shaq. I really, really like Giannis's potential and what he has shown this year. He is the best player on the best team in the NBA in the regular season. And I just really like to see where Giannis will take that talent, especially since he's deserving of an MVP and a DPOY this year, into the playoffs. Could he win a finals MVP? That would be absolutely incredible. No one would have done that. Not even Michael Jordan has done that. Only Hakeem has done that. And that would be absolutely amazing for Giannis, especially going into his contract here. He could sign with the Bucks for upwards of $250 million in the 2021 offseason. And if he does, kudos to him. Honestly, even though I wish he'll come to the Warriors, he deserves all that money and more, especially because his performance is just out of this world. Or you could say Greece.
All right. So that wraps it up for the unofficial 2020 Benchwarmers NBA Awards. We're also going to be doing a similar video about the all rookie teams, all defensive teams, and all NBA teams rather soon. So stay tuned for that. This has been the Benchwarmers signing off. See ya.